I'm actually very excited about this. This is probably gonna end up being a 2 or 3-parter, but this is something I've been looking into. I'm sure you've heard all about it. It's saddle hunting, right? Huge craze, very easy for you to get in, get out, not have to haul around too much gear with you. It can be very quiet if you know how to get it all set up properly, and just I mean, everybody's ranting and raving about saddle hunting being so popular now, and so I wanted to get into the game, but I didn't necessarily have the funds to just go around and start throwing cash around on different saddles that were out there. However, I was lucky enough to be able to get hooked up with some stuff from Hawk. Now, here, just starting off, we've got the Hawk Helium Apex platform. We've got the Hawk Helium Hammock saddle kit. And then these are the Helium Climbing Sticks, and these are the, how long are I want to say they're like 20, yeah, the 20-inch stick length version. So it's got just the 2 steps versus a 3, which is what I already have. And what I can say so far about these sticks from Hawk is that I have not had any issues with them. I did make some changes to my 3-step ones, which I think are, I want to say they're 32 inches. And really the biggest change that I made to it, or the only change I made to it, was that I replaced the daisy chain that comes with the sticks to an amp steel rope mod, just so I can make it easier to tie the sticks up and then hang them on the tree versus using the daisy chain, which nothing against the daisy chain that is included. It was just that when it's cold or when you got gloves on or anything like that, yeah, it was kind of a pain in the butt to find and open the daisy chain loop that you wanted and then fit it over the Versa button and all that kind of stuff. That's the only reason behind it. It was really just about a little bit more convenience and ease of getting things set up for me, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with it, and I'll probably do the same with these. The only difference is I think I went with like 1/4-inch amp steel on my 3-steppers. On the 2 steps I might go to 3/16 and give that a try. But either way, let's get these things opened up, and we'll just kind of talk a little bit more about each product as we go. Now, the first thing I really want to attack is the Helium Hammock Apex platform. And the reason why I want to attack this first, not necessarily attack like it's a bad thing, I'm interested to get it open so I can get my hands on, is because I'm curious about something. And my curiosity is whether or not the platform is too slick out of the box. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you can't really tell if it's too slick if you don't actually go out and try it. But I kind of feel like I could. And here we go. So we've got the platform with the vertical bar, and then you've got the teeth, straps, and all the hardware included in this bag here. So, right off the bat, what I can say is that it does look like it's going to be a little bit on the slicker side. Don't get me wrong, it looks like a freaking phenomenal platform. Good aggressive teeth in the back, feels strong, the welds look good. Yeah, I mean, the platform looks good, but you can just tell, like, the welds are the only thing that's really giving this platform any texture. And with like dry boots and dry conditions, probably not a problem at all, especially since you're more than likely going to be biting into the edges of the stand and not necessarily putting too much pressure right on the top of the platform. I'm probably going to do something about that. But here's the good news. It won't cost that much to make the adjustment that I'm going to make to this platform. But let's get it all put together and go from there. All right, so we got the platform assembled, and I mean, it went as easily as it could. Biggest pain in the butt with installing the platform is actually getting this bolt from the platform to the crossbar, and that's really just because you got to figure out how to get the nylon washers to fit in between the stand and the crossbar. Once you get that figured out, it's literally just tighten everything down with your standard 1/2 inch nut. Okay, so all set, and then you can adjust, you know, tighten or loosen this screw here to determine how easily you want to be able to fold your platform up. I have mine set to being pretty stiff because I assume it'll probably loosen up a little bit more, or as I use it more and more. And then you have adjustability. You've got this screw here in the middle of the platform that you can use to adjust the angle that your platform is going to sit. And from my understanding, that's really going to be dependent upon the tree that you are sitting in and how the trunk is leaning and all that kind of stuff. So for the most part, I'm just going to try and go with it being about as 90 degree-ish as I can find, maybe a little bit on the obtuse side. But after that, you've got your, I don't know what the hell this is called, your line, your rope, your connector piece or whatever, and it's pretty simple. You got a loop on one end, you put that over the button, take the other end, wrap it around the tree, and where are we at? Right here. You got your other end with the other loop, wrap it around the tree, put it back around the Versa button, and yank. I like that. I like that better than the daisy chain. I think it makes it a lot easier to get it set up, which helps, especially since this is the part that you're setting up while you're like 9 to 12 feet up in a tree. So I think the simpler you can make it, the better. And I like that system. And the rope itself, or the cordage, or whatever the hell you want to call this stuff, I'm impressed actually. It's thick. It feels like a good solid tie down material, you know, like the ratchet ties downs that you would use. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't necessarily see a reason to swap that out, so I think we'll go with that and see how that runs. Let's get to the steps next. I got my sticks assembled. It took me like 10 minutes to get all 4 of them up and running. You've got a star screw that goes through for your Versa button, and then you've got 2 bolt nuts with washers that go through the teeth tree bark grabbers. All right, after that, they're done. So, like I said before, I've got the 32-inch 3-step versions of the Hawk Helium Climbing Sticks, and you might be wondering why I decided that I wanted to go with the 20-inch sticks. And the answer is simply this. One, the 32-inch sticks are pretty long, and when I'm walking around in my hunter safety tree harness thing, and I've got them clipped to my sides, dude, they get in the way. They swing, they bang into my knees, and they get in between my legs and trip me up and all kinds of stuff, and it just doesn't make for a very enjoyable walk. So I wanted to try ones that were a little bit shorter, and I also wanted to maybe have a little bit more versatility as far as in the moment deciding, do I want to take 3 sticks? Do I want to take 4? Do I want to take 3 with an 8er? Do I want to take 4 with an 8er? Like, how high do I really want to go, or do I need to go, depending on my hunting situation? So I felt like having the 3 steps and the 2-step 20-inch versions would just be a plus. It would give me a better chance of really getting to play around with my settings of how high or low I'm willing to get set up for this experience. I've never saddle hunted before. I've always just done hunting from a tree stand. I've got an XOP Vanish or something like that. One of those models. It's the smaller of the XOP versions, right? And works great. That's why I've got my 3-step setup. Just because the other thing is that setup is fairly heavy. So I put the extra long steps with the heavy stand because basically I'm going out there before season starts in broad daylight. I'm getting it set up where I want to have some coverage in the area that I hunt, and then there it's going to stay. I don't have any intentions of bringing it down and relocating it on the property or anything like that. So that's what this setup is going to be for, is that if for whatever reason that spot seems to be dead or hasn't started seeing any action, then I've got a way to get to a new part of the property without having to tear a whole setup down and then rebuild it in another location. So that was another reason why I wanted to go with the 20-inch sticks. It's just to help me become a little bit more mobile. Plus, from my understanding with a lot of people, you know, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. 20-inch sticks are a little bit shorter than the 32-inch ones, which means less material, which means less weight, which means less stuff that you have to haul in and out. Now, let's get to the really confusing part, the saddle. All right, well, like I said before, I've never saddle hunted before. This is completely brand new. I've watched a lot of videos, tried to figure it out and do as much research as possible. So really what I want to see is how difficult is it going to be to understand what needs to go where and how to get it set up and all that kind of stuff. That's what we're going to try and figure out right now. So without further ado, see what I got myself into. This appears to be the saddle seat, or whatever else you could call it. Yep. Okay. I've got instructions. I'll probably read these eventually. I'm going to assume that this small package is probably the back strap. No, this is a pouch. Which means this one's probably the back strap, but I could be wrong. This one feels more back strap-ish. And what do you know? Get off of me. So back strap for back support. All right. So I've got two lines here. One's yellow and one's silver. I'll have to figure out which is which in a second. I'm sure that's probably good for that part, especially since that's the thing that is supposed to help adjust your, I'm going to call it ride height because I don't know what the actual term is. And then we've got some carabiners, 3 of them. Let's see here. Okay. I'll give some credit where credit's due. That carabiner actually feels pretty solid, pretty smooth. Like, that's not very difficult to lock it down in place. So I'm impressed with the carabiner so far. Let's see here. So this has a cushion or padding, and from my understanding, the idea is that on colder days, you would attach it so that it gives your bum some more insulation. One of the things I've heard people complain about is how easily these snaps fall off. And each one of those came off with the amount of force that you would expect. I mean, we've all played with snaps and had them on our shoes and stuff like that, so that felt perfectly normal. It didn't feel like it was excessively easy to remove. Solid Cobra style bucket, or buckle, not bucket. I don't think it's actually from Cobra, but the design is solid. So that comes off. And then we've got our straps here, which use the kind of tooth style mechanism to secure, and those are what goes around your legs. So, and then this is our bridge. I don't know, the one thing I'll say about this bridge so far, like it looks like it's AM steel, but a couple spots, looks like it feels like it's a little dried out. This particular one. It just feels stiff and a little dried out. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt. I know that this is obviously the thing that you're hanging on, and you definitely want that to be one of the strongest parts of your whole setup. We'll see. I might do a test run at a lower level just to really put some time in with it before fully committing to going full height, and then we'll go from there. But, so from my understanding, you basically put the bridge in front of you. You can step in to your leg loops here. Bring it up. Clip in. Maybe, do I have this on backwards? Doesn't feel like it. I mean, I think that's basically it. So you've got loops here. That's for your lineman's belt. And then you've got your bridge. And you can tighten these down as much as you see fit. I guess my question for those saddle hunters there is, what do you do with the excess? Like, do you burn it off or what? Not sure. Getting into the saddle doesn't really seem to be the issue. I think the issue is going to be once you're in the tree and getting everything all kind of set up. So we'll have to save that for when I actually get out and do it. Tomorrow, I've missed the first 9 days of opening because I was out of town on vacation. So tomorrow I'm probably just going to climb up into a tree just to get out there for the first day. I also have some matches coming up, so I need to be focusing on those a little bit. But I'll say this. So far, I mean, getting into it, seeing how it fits with all the research that I've done. Understand that. I've watched a ton of videos, so I'm not necessarily coming into it completely blind, and I would highly suggest if you want some more knowledge, seek it. Seek it out. There's plenty out there, okay? But getting into this didn't seem too difficult to understand. And I don't know, I'm interested to get up into a tree and see how comfortable it is. I know a lot of people complain about pinching in the hips, and I'm kind of a bigger, wider dude. So we'll see if that's a real issue. But yeah, we'll go from there. Let's, obviously it's dark outside and tomorrow I'm hunting. So, I don't know, maybe tomorrow afternoon. We'll see if that works out. We'll get up on a tree out here and give it a test run.